All right, so Megan is a 26-year-old. She has been seeing me, the therapist, for about 7 months now. About a year ago, she left a pretty toxic and emotionally abusive relationship with a boyfriend she's had since college. Since breaking up with that man, she moved back home with her parents and has been working a minimum wage job at Starbucks. Recently, she started floating the idea of entering the field that she got her degree in, which is communications. And in our last session, we talked a lot about like sending resumes in, sending cover letters in. And this meeting is coming shortly after an interview that she just had with the company for a public relations professional. Hi, Meg. How are you? I know last time we talked, you were going in for that interview, and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, so I feel like it didn't really go the best. Um, I answered all their questions, but I just felt like I've been out of school for so long that my degree is like not really relevant, and I wasn't able to answer the questions very well. Um, I don't know if I'll get a call back. I feel like I might not. Um, I just
All right.
I'm not feeling great about it.
So it sounds like your interview, you felt like maybe your degree didn't really match up with what they needed as a worker, and you didn't feel like you were providing good enough answers for that. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing correct? Is that how you're feeling right now?
yeah. Um, I think I might try to apply for a different type of job, maybe not public relations. Um, I don't know what to do though. Like, I don't know what avenue I could go down
Well,
with a
that's fine.
communications degree.
You don't need to know what you want to do. How long ago was that first interview?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday? Okay. So did they say anything at the end of the interview about when you might hear a call back or any information?
They said if I would be getting a call back, it would be within the next week.
In the
Um,
next week. Okay, so we still have some time. What were you in the interview? Just tell me a little bit more about that interview. You said that you were feeling like your answers weren't matching up with what they actually wanted. Why do you feel like that?
um, I just feel like I'm not great at answering questions in the first place, so it made me really nervous to like provide the right answers. Um, some of the things that they were asking were like I didn't really remember from college. That's kind of why I felt like maybe my degree isn't really applicable.
Mhm.
So I might have to go down another road or
Mhm.
maybe grad school. I know I'm kind of jumping to conclusions. I've
Well,
still
that's
got like a
fine.
week to hear back, but
Well, that's fine. Before we talk more about that, like interview, it sounds like you are saying that like you don't really know if your degree is maybe too broad for what you applied for, and you don't know if what your degree is in is going to really be necessary or needed for the jobs you want to pursue. And then I know you mentioned grad school. So I just want to ask you so we can guide the rest of the session and we can talk more about what happened in the interview and your goals. So, like in your fantasy world, a year from now, when you think about, are you still living with your parents? What job are you doing? Are you in grad school? And this could be, I don't want you to think here right now and think that this needs to be like the most logical step. I want to know what you want. What would happen for you in a fantasy world?
I well, when I was a kid, I always kind of dreamed of being a newscaster. And that's why I went into communications because I know that's like the road that you take to be a newscaster. Um, I just feel like I'm not qualified yet for it. Um, Obviously, end goal, I don't want to be living with my parents forever. Um, Maybe in a year from now, it's not really attainable, but definitely eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just said newscaster. I mean, you have a communications degree. It honestly seems like it's the right path for you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 10 feeling like, you know what, you could apply tomorrow and get the position as a newscaster, and one being I'd basically have to like start my life over in order to do this. Where do you fall right now? Where do you fall on like your, your dream of being a newscaster?
I think probably like a 6. Like,
Okay.
I know I don't need to start my life over. Um, I just feel like maybe I'm not qualified as much as other people would be who would be applying.
So what would it be like? What would you have done over the next year to make you be maybe an 8 or a 9? So first, what would it look like to be at an 8?
Um, at an 8, I would be applying to a bunch of jobs, anything that I could. Um, I think over the next year, I could probably do that.
You could do that. Yeah. Do you think you would need to start at another position? Would you need more schooling? Like, I think we should like chunk this out in terms of how do we go from here to here? Because you sound like, I know you were just telling me earlier in the session that you feel like you just don't have the skills and you're really missing a lot that you need in order to do this. But it's great because it sounds like now that we're talking this out, that you actually do have a lot going for you and you're not that far off from actually where you want to be. So I'll push it over to your corner. Yeah, like what do you think?
That made me feel pretty good. I think I'm not that far off. I might just be feeling down right now. I could apply for some jobs to get some more experience, maybe not as a newscaster, but something else more related to the field,
Mhm.
and work my way up. I think I could do that.
Yeah, and I know right now that you do feel really down about the job interview that just happened, but as you can already say from your session that you're acknowledging the fact that you might just be feeling down because of that interview and you're jumping to conclusions, but that is how you feel right now. But I think it's great that we have, referenced some next steps and where you're going. Because now it sounds like from what you're telling me that you're feeling a bit better about your position and what you want to do and what your next steps can be. So that all
Yeah,
sounds really great. And I'm glad that we've reached this spot.
I definitely think I can start applying
You can,
again.
yeah, and I think what I want to end the session on is like you telling me ideally, like, I know you said in the next year, but what do you want to do by, next week? What do you want to do in the next month to make yourself feel like you're going forward towards your goal? What
I
ideally
think
is happening?
by next week, I would like to apply to 2 more jobs.
2 more jobs? Okay, that's
Yeah.
completely doable. It sounds like you've already sent out a bunch of resumes, which is good.
Mhm.
So I think that's completely an attainable goal. So that sounds great, Megan.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll do that by next
That sounds great. And I know we do have another session scheduled for next week. So if
week.
you want to hear about, by then you'll have information about that. And I know you're feeling a bit anxious about that interview and a little bit scared about what might come from it, but you'll know by next week. So when we talk next, we'll know and we can talk more about those jobs you applied to and all about those next steps. Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely update you next week.
All right. I'll see you next week. Okay.